WOTUS rules are back in the news. We're going to talk about the Mississippi River level impacts on harvest and so much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Happy Thursday.
It's almost Friday.
Friday of a holiday weekend, my friend.
3-day holiday.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Unless you're sitting on the combine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
We probably should run that back.
Yeah, let's cut that.
Know your audience. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. That was probably not very thoughtful.
I was thinking about you, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to punish myself and say that all weekend. Welcome, Matthew, to the show.
Hey.
Hello.
Matthew has caught a lot of flack from somebody at this table over the past several weeks about your ongoing absences.
Who would say such a thing?
Last week
I'm a busy guy. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that you are.
Is that a Game of Thrones coffee mug?
Glad you know that.
No. No, it is.
That's funny. Last week, I don't know if you watched the show. Just tell us you did. If you didn't, you got committed to buy all three of us Christmas gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were talking about making
Miss
our
another
Christmas
podcast,
list.
see what happens, Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you got committed. I think
My birthday's June 25th, by the way. Just
Yeah.
put it on your calendar.
Yeah.
I think it was Brian's idea.
What
I'm
goes
not
around
sure.
comes around, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I see. That was all dark.
That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Very scary. I didn't know you had that in you, but that
No
was
smile or anything.
threatening. Yeah. So anyway, glad to have you on the show today. And we certainly miss Brian, but I believe he shall be back next week. We'll start with this one. Anybody go out last night and take a peek at that blue supermoon? I think it was blue. Yeah, blue supermoon.
I had all intentions to do so.
Did you fall asleep?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. I don't have an excuse, but just I forgot. I was even on my couch looking at it on the phone, like, all right, this is about this time. I need to go out there.
Yeah, yeah,
And then as soon as I put my phone down, I forgot about it.
yeah. Did you go out?
I did not.
Okay.
Be honest, didn't even know it was happening.
Okay. Is this just not in your interest? As a photographer, I find that interesting.
I've taken as many photos of the moon as I want to. And the other thing you can do is if you want to do like I know Tim Ernst is very popular for doing it, is like moonlit landscapes.
Yeah.
And you know, if it was a Friday night or a Saturday night, I might make an attempt to go somewhere and be set up to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Being a work night, that's like basically committing to, I'm going to get home at 1 a.m. and then have to wake up at, 6 to be at work on time. And
Produce a podcast. And,
it's not, it's just,
all that.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I wonder though. I want to see some of this moonlit landscape photography. I wonder if there's an agriculture aspect to it.
Tim has a whole book.
Okay.
But you could, if it coincided with someone out on their combine,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before crop got too wet to harvest, could be some
Cool
really cool
picture.
photography.
Yeah, for sure.
Which that is to say, this is a call out to all of our row crop producers. Something I really want to do this year is go make a video on someone who's harvesting after dark.
At night, man, that's
So,
looking like UFOs.
yeah.
going through
Just
the field.
for the visual aspect of it. And I can fly my drone after dark now. That is a rule. You're allowed to do it.
Oh, really?
That's good.
So, just saying.
Do Do you have to put a flashlight on it? Tape a flashlight on it?
Well, it already has lights, but you do
Okay,
have to have lights that can be seen, I think. Oh, you're gonna catch me lying now. There is a.
This is not a
He's gonna
drone
get put on a
pilot
government
test.
watch
Yeah, I'm
list
gonna.
after this.
The FAA is gonna come for me now if I don't answer it right. There is a certain distance the lights have to be seen. So if an aircraft was in the area, it could see it. I think it's something like 25 miles.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
If
Ish.
anything, that is extremely overshooting it. I think so.
Okay.
You know.
Well, we'd rather do that. And this is not a
Yeah.
drone flying class, so don't
Yeah.
take our word for it.
Just know
frankly.
FAA that is listening to this. Obviously, I will look up the rule before I do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a cool idea. By the way, I think I might want to tag along with that if you book one of those gigs. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I bet. Well, right now it's probably too dry to catch somebody working that late.
Yeah,
at
but
night,
once you know, they're saying it's going to be a wet October.
yeah, you'll get it
Once
there.
you get one of those storms coming in, and people are trying to get crop out of the field, there'll be people running into
Well,
the night.
and also we'll see what this hurricane does.
Yeah, that's
could
usually what
send-
ends up happening is
Yep.
as a tropical storm, you know, the depression comes up and hits us.
Is it going to push far enough west?
I don't think this one is.
I don't know if this one will.
There usually is one somewhere around, like you say, in October.
I bet beginning of October we see one of those come through where they're like, we gotta be in the field and we're running till 10 o'clock whenever the dew point gets too high to really be harvesting. So,
Well, and guys, let's be. I mean, we're not to September yet, and we know. I mean, Katrina came
Tomorrow.
in September. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so
oh yeah,
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. I did go out and watch it. I'll tell you, I went out. I'm like, is it too cloudy? It looks kind of cloudy. I'm not seeing anything. And then all of a sudden on the horizon, I see it just popping up, and I was like, wow, I could see it through the trees, and it moved up really quickly.
Really?
But it was cool. It was. I will say, it was a lot cooler on the horizon than it was straight up in the sky because at that point it just looked like a full moon.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like real blue?
No, I would say not any more bluish tint to it than what
well,
I've seen
it's
before.
more I think the light that is being reflected off is more blue.
Yeah, certainly the
and
backyard.
And
sort of
yeah,
had
so
this
if you
hue to
were
it.
somewhere where you had a really wide view, you would be like, wow, it's kind of blue out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we live in like the bottom of a valley, so I
Yeah.
probably
You would have had to leave home to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. First one since 2009, I think, and then the last one full supermoon until 2037.
Yeah, I read the same.
Those things always kind of make me feel like I need to invest more time in seeing whatever it is. When you're like, oh, I'll be 50 something when this thing comes back. I don't know. Some other news this week, kind of random.
Yeah.
But we do go nostalgia on this show all the time, so I felt like it fit. Did you guys see the news about Bob Barker?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Nostalgia for me is like, 2007?
I know.
So,
I was going to say, I apologize. I owe you an apology. At the time when we wrote these notes, I thought Brian was going to be here today with us, and he's not. So I apologize now. I feel like I've sort of
no, I mean,
left you out.
I watched some Bob Barker. I'm pretty sure it was all reruns when I was watching it, but maybe somewhere.
Here's the question about it, though. Was it on a sick day?
Yes.
Were you home from school sick?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because like if you were home for a sick day, there was The Price is Right, soap operas, and then Jerry. What was it?
Jeopardy?
No,
Seinfeld? Jerry?
no, Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer.
The Jerry Springer
Yeah.
show.
Lord,
So
Jerry Springer, yeah.
The Price is Right was literally the only thing good on TV in the middle of the day.
And then, when I was younger, I mean, there was, Jerry Springer had not been born yet. It might be like Phil Donahue or Ricky Lake or something. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, Bob Barker, I mean, I saw a meme after he passed, rest his soul. It was like a picture of Bob Barker, chicken noodle soup, some ginger ale, and an old couch. And it was like every sick day I ever had as a kid. And I thought that was
See, for some
right
reason, I relate it to, we had all wood furniture in our house. The
Mm-hmm.
TV cabinet was wood.
Yeah.
And it would be on early morning in the summer, my mom being a school teacher, so
Sure.
she was off in the summers.
Yeah.
And it'd be like cleaning time, and it would be on, and I could just smell pine sol rubbed across the wooden furniture as Bob Barker's telling me how much
You see
a
the
can
big
of green
wheel.
beans cost.
You see
Some
the
Dawn
big wheel
soap.
turning,
Yeah.
and you go right to Pine Saw.
My
I
fa-
love that kind of memory stuff
Yeah.
where you get multiple senses.
Well,
involved.
my favorite part of that show was like, you know, he'd be like, tell them what they've won.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, it's a brand new, and they're all thinking, hopefully a Jamaican vacation or a car. And it's
Yeah.
a brand new dinette set. And they're still cheering. I'm like,
Here's
it's awful. I
here's
don't want
this
a
hideous
dinette set.
dining
Yeah.
set you don't want.
A mixer. I don't know.
And this woman's like 80. It's a brand new jet ski.
Yeah.
It's like, what
And you
am I gonna
always
do
had
with
that. Yeah. You always had that one member of your family, too, that was so practical. You'll probably appreciate they're like, when they'd win a car, they're like, you know, they still got to pay sales tax
Yeah.
on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. Good memories there with old Bob Barker and
I like
Price
that
is Right.
microphone. You didn't see that microphone
Anywhere else.
Ever.
I don't know if they custom made that. I don't know. Nobody else uses
No.
that
Do you want
microphone.
us to get you a really skinny, long microphone?
I would use it right here. Well, especially for
I mean, I would
interviews.
use it if we just tribute to Bob Barker and the Price is Right.
Your favorite Price is Right game? Did you have one? I've got two.
I
it's
couldn't even
hard to
tell you
pick.
any of the games
Okay.
other than
I could show you pictures and you would recognize probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Did you have one that stuck out to
The
you?
one that
or
sticks
one
out
that
the
you
most
wanted
is-
to play?
Is always that big wheel
Yeah.
or the
that was the
Plinko.
Showcase Showdown. Plinko.
Yep.
Yeah, Plinko is up there for me. That and do you remember the mountain climber game? He was
I think
like
so, yeah.
yodeling and going up the mountain, but
Mhm.
Plinko is probably. My guess is Plinko's everybody's favorite.
Now, imagine this conversation with a caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
What?
mountain goat climbing up, telling you how much your washing machine from General Electric cost.
All right. Point made. Wheel of Fortune. Price is Right. Fun show. Worth your time.
$1, Bob.
Yeah, we reference it.
A
I
lot.
forgot about that. We reference that so much on this show when we say $1. I mean, just last week I was like, I would go $1.01 when
Yeah.
we were guessing how many chickens are raised in Arkansas. Anyway, all right. As we mentioned, we're on the cusp of Labor Day weekend.
We are.
One of the big grilling and cooking, outdoor cooking holidays of the year.
Yep. Last big summer holiday.
Last big summer holiday. Saw Todd Jacobian mention this morning that today's the last meteorological day of summer.
Really?
That there was a nip in the air this morning, buddy.
Yeah, it's been
I mean,
feeling
you
pretty
can
good
feel
last
it
week.
coming.
I have my a thicker shirt on, but that's mainly because I thought I might be sitting in this room.
Well, you did the right thing.
Our 2 months of enjoying sitting in the podcast is over.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
My
thinking about
hands,
that earlier.
I need gloves today, and
Yeah.
my hands are freezing. Any Labor Day weekend plans?
I'm going to go sit in a sunflower field and hope a dove flies by.
All right,
Or several.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I mean, the weather, by the way, is going to be like Chamber of Commerce weather this weekend. It's going to get hot again next week. But this weekend, have you not seen this?
I've
Or did you
never
know
heard
that
someone
saying?
say the Chamber of
Oh my
Commerce
gosh.
weather.
Really?
What is this weird Forest City,
Yeah, you had to explain
Lee County talk?
Sometimes the
never-
Chamber of Commerce
Actually,
is
I
hot,
apologize to
sometimes
all
it's
of our
cold.
farmers and friends in Forest City for putting this on you.
Y'all never. You looked at me so crazy right then. Y'all never heard Chamber of Commerce weather.
You're on something. I don't.
That's like his analogy. It's like a blanket you just put in the wash machine and it's brand new and clean. Mm-hmm. You just got to get used to it again. It's like what? I'd have gone with like a new pair of boots. Just needed brand
Hold
new.
on.
I'll
Before
explain for you.
no. John, what is Chamber of Commerce weather?
I have no
Fair.
idea.
No.
Like,
Give your best guess.
Are you is the Chamber of Commerce sometimes hot and sometimes they're cold? I don't. I have no
Well,
idea.
I think you think the Chamber of Commerce. It's the weather you would pay for. It's money.
He gets it. That's it. Chamber of Commerce wants it all to be perfect on the big day.
Yeah.
And they order up like you could have ordered up this weather.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay for this weather. Whatever that is. Fill in the blank. Perfect weather is what I'm saying.
I just don't know enough about the day-to-day business of a Chamber of Commerce, I guess. I get what you're saying. I just don't have enough background
Okay,
information.
forget
on
I
Chamber
said
of
anything. The
Commerce.
weather's going to be great this weekend. How about that? We'll just stick with that. The weather's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hope you get outside. You're obviously planning to get outside. Are you gonna cook anything?
I'd be willing to bet we're gonna have some ribs,
Okay.
burgers, maybe hot dogs,
Yeah.
chicken. There'd probably be some chicken wings.
Chicken. All right. Well, that's pretty good. Matthew,
I'm
what you got going?
gonna go to Memphis with some people.
Nice.
Do an escape room because they have some escape room places there that are pretty legit.
Cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Probably get some food.
Where are you gonna eat?
Don't know yet. We're not doing barbecue because we're gonna do barbecue another day.
Okay.
So that's usually your go-to in Memphis. Is
Yeah.
let me go get some barbecue.
Yeah.
But haven't quite decided yet.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there's some good options depending on what meal you're there for.
Yeah.
I tell you, I think when you go to Memphis, the weather's got to be right for walking outside.
It's got to be
it's
some
a walkable
Chamber of
town.
Commerce weather.
It's a walkable town. I'm just saying, you're picking the right weekend to go. You guys can go ahead and make fun of me all you want. Somebody who's listening or watching this show right now is going to say, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Sorry.
That's an appeal. If you do say that, like, right into us.
That is
like,
Jason is saying, please
back me
comment.
up. Back
Please.
me up.
I cannot be alone.
I understand there's an age difference between you and me, so it must be significant enough.
Oh
that,
my gosh!
I feel sorry even for Matthew. He's even younger than me.
Yeah.
He got it. He got it. He knew.
Well, I might have made a 25 on the ACT, but I've got
I
a
didn't.
little
Maybe
bit of
that's no
critical
problem.
thinking.
You know what? Context clues, buddy. You got him. You got him.
It still is a ridiculous statement.
Well, I
Regardless.
shall never use it in front of you two again. That's for certain.
Maybe just ever. You could cut it out of your lexicon.
Oh my
The highlight
gosh!
of my day.
I've never been beat up so bad for a
Well,
saying.
if I have to buy you a Christmas present, I said,
Chamber of Commerce podcast.
that'd be so
boy.
boring.
This is wild. All right. Well, I hope you both have a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
I hope you do too.
I mean, are you doing anything? I guess we didn't ask you.
Yeah. Nobody ever does. I ask the questions, people answer, we move on. Like, that's how it goes. There was something on last week's podcast I was asking Brian and McMahon about, first car. And it was like, they answered, and then we just kept rocking
Yeah.
on.
Anyways,
it's okay. So
back-
I appreciate that. We are going to get outside. We're gonna load up the old camper and go spend some time.
Where are you going?
Next to a body of water, and
Cool.
there's that. So I'm very much looking forward to the weather. North Central Arkansas is where we're going.
What are you gonna cook?
Well, we're gonna have brisket tacos one day.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, we Buddy, who's going with us, he rolls out his big ugly drum smoker.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. We are also going to have steaks one night for dinner and some good breakfast. And anyway.
This is why he isn't telling us where, because he's afraid we'd show up looking for some brisket tacos.
Yeah, no. I will
I hear
not.
you
I
people got some
refuse.
brisket tacos.
What's up?
I'm going to go to every body of water in North Central Arkansas until I find this
Speaking
campsite.
of, can I borrow some cilantro?
It's not quite there yet.
Okay, all right. Well,
You would take the singular leaf that is on my hydroponic system.
Matthew's got a hydroponic system
Oh,
in
you
his
haven't
office.
told me about this.
Yeah.
Come visit my office. There was last time I was on, you're like, you never invite me to lunch. And it's like, you can come to lunch anytime.
I'm in your office at least once a week.
It is so bright with that UV light on, you couldn't miss it.
Depending on the time of day, because the lights do go off. It's supposed to mimic the sun. And
but-
when they're off, it's kind of hard to
It's
notice.
set for like 9 a.m. to like, I don't know, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
Interesting. I'll have to check it out.
anyway,
after this.
go check it out. You've got some basil.
yeah, basil,
Cilantro.
cilantro, mint, parsley.
Yeah, the cilantro's been slow going though.
This was a birthday gift, and Sindra said, "You're the only person I know who would ask for this as a birthday gift at the age of 27." And all I could say is,
Yeah. I told you,
Not me.
you kind of inspired me. I kind of want to give it a shot now. Yeah. So anyway, there's
Cool.
that. Well, I guess we ought to talk about some real ag news. So just a reminder as we've been trying to do each week, to go check out the new Arkansas Ag. It's our news portal that covers tons of ag news topics, much like the show does. but this one is on the internet and there for you 24/7. So go give it a look. There's some interesting stories on there. We've talked about some of the stories here. Certainly some stories that we report on here will be there. Just go give it a look and kind of get yourself up to date on all things agriculture news for the state of Arkansas. You can do that at arcag.arfb.com. That's arkag.arfb.com. I listened back to the show last week and I realized it's actually, I think, makes it harder to remember or understand when I spell it out than it is when I just say it. So arcag.arfb.com. I picked out this pretty cool program from the Arkansas Ag Department's Forestry Division.
Yeah.
And I really want to pass this along. Like I think we should find somebody who takes them up on this and follow along this year. This is the 2023 Shade Trees on Playground program. They call it STOP. And this is applications for this are open through September the 15th. So for the next few weeks. This program was built for Arkansas schools needing additional shade on their playgrounds. And selected schools will receive up to 5 Arkansas native shade trees, mulch, watering supplies, and planting guidelines. Forestry Division staff will also help plant the trees during a ceremony with students.
That's cool.
This fall. And trees native to Arkansas are chosen by the Forestry Division staff to fit the region and conditions of each playground. So sycamores, oaks, tulip poplars, and black gum trees are common species for the program.
Well, I tell you, Joey Shannon Elementary did not have any shade on that playground when I was a kid.
Nor did Forest Hills Elementary School. I can tell you that. My daughter's playground does not have very much shade. I think they have one tree, and it's kind of away from the swing set or whatever. I thought this was very cool and a cool way to get get agriculture involved at your elementary school. So again, that is open until September 15th. Application deadline. Go ahead, apply. See what you can do there. You can find all the information on the Arkansas Ag Department's website, and just passing that along. Anything else before we get into the crop progress report, which does include some harvest numbers?
No.
Well, I think we're working on a harvest update video right now. You put out some corn harvest footage that was beautiful.
It wasn't harvest; it was pre-harvest.
Pre-harvest, okay.
And I think not this last weekend, but the weekend before, I was driving down through Jefferson County and was starting to see lots of combines running. And then this last weekend, I was driving out east, and I saw lots of cornfields ready to roll. So I'd say at this point we're in full go.
Yeah, so. I've been getting a lot of Snapchats of people driving the combine. Yeah, picking corn and whatnot. So it's happening.
That it is. I think harvest is rocking on. The heat is back next week, and I couldn't find any rain in the 10-day. So that is what it is. We are going to be up in the high 90s, like 98, 99 next week. But we'll enjoy the good weather while it's here. And we're going to start today with the state's corn crop, as we do every week. We've seen some loss of quality this week, with nearly 25% of the crop rated poorly. But like we said, harvest is moving on regardless. We've harvested 15% of the state's corn crop as of Tuesday's report. And that's just slightly behind the 5-year and last year's schedule. I think that was 18% both last year and the 5-year. So not bad. Cotton is holding the quality where we saw it last week. The report says 22% of the bolls are open, and I can definitely attest to that. We were in Cross County, Poinsett County area yesterday, and took 40 to get there.
Yeah.
And you can see that white fluff starting to flash in the fields.
Doesn't quite look like snow yet.
Around that,
peeking out.
Yeah, it's not snow yet, but you can see. I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to look hard to see it out there. which really tells me it won't be long until we see those beautiful snow white fields, as you said, and is probably a good reminder. Now we'll probably say this multiple times, but guys, please don't go traipsing through a field to take a photo, whether that be with your family or whatever that may be. Just kind of respect, general property respect. Exercise that. Cotton is so cool to see, but you can really kind of mess things up a little bit if you aren't careful. So just keep that in mind. And I'm excited. I love to see a good cotton field opened up.
Yeah.
So
I do too. And if you get over the right part of the state, you can see it as far as you can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. That's
pretty
exactly
impressive.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is cool. All right, peanuts continue to hold strong in the quality rating this week. We're still a bit away from harvest reporting here, obviously, but we'll be keeping a close eye on that.
I had some peanut butter yesterday. It was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it local?
Yeah. What is?
We're talking about peanuts.
I had some peanut butter yesterday.
Yeah.
It was.
You don't like peanut butter?
Oh, I love peanut butter, but I'm not
meal.
like.
I really enjoyed my peanut butter, and when he talked about peanuts, I felt like I needed to say something.
And you know what? I appreciate that.
Yeah, see?
I don't.
Yeah, I know you don't.
It's obvious.
Well, if I ever have some peanut butter here at the office, I will not share with you.
Brian is nicer.
Yes, isn't he?
I told you. Whenever you guys talking to me about Christmas gifts, I told you.
Yeah, you're back with a vengeance, baby. All right, rice harvest is still on the move. We've doubled progress from last week to 4%. Which is still a bit behind last year and the 5-year. That said, the crop quality still looks pretty good, and I suspect by next week we'll see a pretty big jump in progress on rice. Moving on to soybeans, not a lot of change in crop quality this week over last. 29% of the crop has started changing colors. We also saw some of that in East Arkansas this week, like I said, being over there this week. 2% of the state's crop is mature. But we won't be seeing any bean cutting until this corn and rice are out of the field, probably.
Usually the way it goes.
Yeah. And just a note, as harvest gets into full swing, we're going to be turning our attention to river levels. We've got a story. We talked about that earlier. We've got a story on that here in just a bit. And farmers' abilities to move this grain as it's harvested. We've been working to understand this week the current impact and try to set a baseline for the next couple of weeks and what rain forecast looks like. And we'll talk more about that here in a few, but that's your crop progress and harvest update.
Well, you ready for some news?
I am.
The real reason for the podcast?
That's it.
My news?
Yeah, your news.
All right. Well, WOTUS is back in the news again. I feel like we've talked about this at least once a month since January.
I think you're right.
But after a Supreme Court ruling, the EPA and Army amend the Waters of the United States rule, or also known as WOTUS.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, in May, the Supreme Court ruled against the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, in Sackett versus EPA. The ruling greatly narrowed the EPA and the Army Corps Engineers' jurisdictional authority under the Clean Waters Act.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it eliminated the use of the ambiguous, quote, significant nexus test and greatly narrowed the agency's definition of adjacency. Also, the court directed the agencies to adopt the, quote, relatively permanent standard as the only regulatory test moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
This in turn forced the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers to change their WOTUS rule. Although the ruling redresses many aspects of the court's ruling, many within the agriculture industry state that the changes were very minimal and don't address the rest of the remaining issues within WOTUS. According to a news release from the American Farm Bureau, the new ruling continues to exploit other areas within the rule with the intended goal of expanding the federal government's regulatory reach. It also fails to give context to the scope of the, quote, relatively permanent standard, leaving it incredibly vague and amorphous. Is that how it pronounced
that?
Yeah. Well, it's at Stuttgart High School Education. So Zippy Duvall, American Farm Bureau president, was quoted saying, EPA had a golden opportunity to write a Waters of the U.S. rule that is fair to farmers and stands the test of time, but instead chose to continue government overreach and revise only a small slice of the rule that was rejected by the Supreme Court. We're pleased the vague and confusing, quote, significant nexus test has been eliminated as a Supreme Court dictated. But EPA has joined other clear concerns, or has ignored other clear concerns raised by the justices across 26 states and farmers across the country about the rule's failure to respect private property rights and the Clean Waters Act. So, as AFBF President Duvall stated, there's still litigation regarding WOTUS going on in 26 or 27 different states. As always, we will continue to monitor this issue as we have the last 6 months and deliver any news or updates we have. But I think the main takeaway is here they got rid of their standard testing of what is waters of the U.S., what is dictated that way. But they didn't address other issues within the ruling, and it's still very, very vague.
Yeah.
And farmers and other industries are still confused on what this even means.
Yeah, and that vagueness was one of the sort of cornerstones of complaints.
Yeah.
One of the cornerstone complaints of the rule, as we've reported on this many times,
Yeah,
as I believe.
it's the same story over and over
help
again.
us understand. We need a clear understanding, and we don't need a goal line that moves constantly.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's still sort of a concern. All right, I'll start off this week with a topic that's starting to pick up quite a bit of steam, as we mentioned earlier, and we continue progressing through harvest. The Mississippi River is low now, and it is getting lower. As we've discussed in the past several weeks of the show, the Mid-South, especially here in Arkansas, has been experiencing a very dry weather pattern for the past few weeks. I just read this morning that burn ban county count, I think, that we gave last week is ticking up by the day.
Yeah.
You'll recall the low river levels became quite a burden on Arkansas farmers last year, hitting at the worst possible time, harvest. Brownfield Ag News had some details in reporting earlier this week. They talked with Mark Fox, a senior service hydrologist with the National Weather Service in St. Louis, who said they're forecasting the river to drop to as low as -4 in the next few weeks with no significant rain chances in sight, as we've talked about. The story goes on to say that navigation on the river is impacted at -2. So we're setting up to have challenges much like last year, really. To put this into perspective for those who don't navigate the river daily, Mike Steenhoek, Soy Transportation Coalition Executive Director, said he's concerned because we may be looking at taking a typical 6-lane freeway, again, trying to make this understandable for us, taking a 6-lane freeway down to a 2 or 3-lane freeway.
Yeah.
This would seriously restrict traffic volume on the river. Steenhoek also said that the higher transportation costs are starting to show up already on the lower Mississippi River.
Yeah.
And certainly, as we know from experience, that has the opportunity to impact Arkansas growers. We're tracking this not only here on the podcast, but more broadly at Farm Bureau as well. We'll be sure to provide updates as we have them and provide the farmers' perspective right here in the state.
Last year, Tyler Oxer and I put together an Ag Insider. I think it might have been our first official Ag Insider, maybe.
Yeah.
About the same issue we had on the Mississippi River. And it did a really good job of putting it in context, specifically how much you can load of grain you can put on a barge compared to a truck, compared to a rail car on a train. So I go back and read that.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good reminder. So that's there. We know too, and this I can't remember if this is part of that or not, but we started to see basis change.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Farmers being docked basically if they brought, or I'll say it like this, being paid to keep their grain at home. Which was really
They know where to put it.
Really interesting. Yeah, nowhere to put it in some cases. So hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully we get some rain to help with that situation. All right, let's take a short break from the news to hear a reminder about keeping rural roads safe this time of year.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
You hear us say it a lot, but it's up to all of us to watch out for one another on the road. It's one of my favorite times of year with harvest in full swing, and that means farm equipment is on the road. Whether you're in a row crop country or passing by a pasture full of hay, that equipment you see on the road needs more space and extra time. When we do our part, we all work together to cultivate safe roads. Now, let's get back to the news.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my last one for the day, or I guess technically the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Until next week. So a new study shows the soybean industry has a $124 billion impact on the U.S. economy.
Oh, wow.
Would you have thought that it was that large?
I don't think so.
That's it's quite a bit.
Yeah, $124 billion.
So the National Oilseed Processors Association, or NOPA, and the United Soybean Board, or USB, commissioned LMC International Ltd., which is an independent economic consulting firm specializing in global agricultural, commodity, and agribusiness sectors, to study the economic impact of the soybean industry on the U.S. economy. The study has been published and is titled The Economic Impact of the U.S. Soybean and End Products on the U.S. Economy. Mm-hmm. The study looked at the entire supply chain of the industry from producers to end users not to get into too much detail, but the study highlights a few of the following statistics.
Okay. Incoming numbers.
Yeah, an economist giving you economic
I like
numbers.
it.
So the total economic impact, like I stated before, was averaged at $124 billion. Within that, $85.7 billion was from actual soy production.
Mm-hmm.
$9.8 billion was from soy processing.
Okay.
Yeah. This all accounts for, or the soy production and processing accounts for about 0.6% of the U.S. gross domestic product, or GDP.
Okay. There we go.
So that $124 billion is only 0.6%.
Yeah. Ooh, buddy.
There are 500,000 individuals involved in soy farm decision-making, including 223,000 paid full-time equivalent jobs and an additional 62,000 family members beyond growers who reside on farms and are integral to soybean farm operations.
I thought you were speaking, going into another language or something right there.
I butchered that a little bit.
No. I think it's fine.
So the total wage impact, which I think is pretty staggering, for the entire sector averaged $10 billion.
Wow.
So
That's
this,
amazing.
this is not just soy production, like I was saying, but farming, the production of soybeans, as well as the milling, the pressing of oil, and then where that mill and that oil goes into after that. Mm-hmm. So food, paint, you
animal
name
feed.
it. Animal feed. It's a trickle down effect.
tires. Yeah. I mean, really. Yeah.
So, like I said, that's pretty impressive. And I think it's also something our farmers and others involved in the industry, indirectly or directly, can be very proud of.
Absolutely. I like a good economic impact report.
Yeah, I think we're pretty dependent on soybean production here in the United States.
No doubt. One tiny sector of one industry bringing up 0.6% of the total GDP.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. All right, how about an update on a story we reported a couple months ago? This time, your input is needed on ag labor issues.
Yes, sir.
I love when this stuff comes up. We report on a story, we say we're going to bring you more. Boom.
Yeah.
Update happens, we get to bring you more. As a refresher, back in June, the U.S. House Ag Committee leadership announced the formation of the Agricultural Labor Working Group, a bipartisan team of 14 lawmakers, to develop recommendations to improve the agricultural labor crisis. Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford is serving as co-chair for this group, just as a reminder. The group's work is meant to focus on 3 areas of action. Number 1, to get input from stakeholders, employers, and workers, particularly emphasizing the H-2A visa program for non-immigrant agricultural workers. 2, to produce an interim report detailing the program's shortcomings and the impacts on food security. And number 3, to file a final report with recommendations, to address the flaws within the program. The input portion of the group's work opened this week, we're happy to say. There's now a live survey to provide your experiences with agriculture workforce issues. According to the group, all answers will remain anonymous, and will be aggregated for internal use by the members of the working group. The link is a little long. I'll give you the heads up. So we'll include it in the show notes for you. And it can be found at our agriculture.house.gov and under that policy tab.
Yeah.
If you click on that policy tab, you'll see Agricultural Labor Working Group.
So Crawford's already kind of hit the ground running with this. He was here, 2 weeks ago in Stuttgart doing a listening session with farmers.
Oh, really?
We set in on that. And then also be looking for, we've got a paper coming out. Another Ag Advisor.
Self-promo time.
If I don't, who will?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So, that is going to be centered around this issue and some of the big hurdles farmers are experiencing with the H2A program.
So an ag insider that sort of tells you what's going on with the H2A program and outlines some of the challenges.
Correct. And the potential impact that it could have on farmers' operations.
Oh, wow.
With some of these new rules.
Yeah, my goodness. Well, that sounds helpful. When do you have a date?
I'm hoping it's our August edition, so it should be out no later than next week.
Well,
today's August.
I was
Last day
going to
of
say,
August.
we better get on that horse and ride.
Somebody in the PR department.
All right. Well, that's good. We'll keep an eye out for that. Just a quick plug for Arkansas Ag, the news portal. It will be hosted there, I bet.
Yeah.
You can find it at arfb.com. I bet we'll push it on social also. And I think you guys send that stuff out in email.
We do. We send it out to
ways.
all Federation divisions.
Okay.
And I think membership as well. So also if you want to get on that email list, please let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can send me an email at john.mcminn@arfb.com.
Yeah, or you can text them with your cell phone. Just kidding about that. Just kidding. Well, that's sort of the news portion of the show. Mr. Magdafrau, I know that you're sort of guest producing today, but I love it when you're here because you always bring a unique segment to wrap us up.
Do you have any peanut butter facts?
Lots of peanut butter facts.
Okay. Hit me one.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I
Fact
love
number one.
peanut butter on pretzels,
Yeah.
on bread, on chocolate.
Yes, sir.
How about a peanut butter jelly sandwich? Here's the question. Grape jelly or strawberry jelly?
There's a secret third option:
Oh, what's that?
blackberry jelly.
Ooh.
I've not had that.
But if it's grape or strawberry, as a kid it was all grape. Now as an adult, I feel like it's all strawberry.
Really?
So
Great.
I like both equally. I'm a traditionalist with the grape,
Yeah.
but I'm a big fan of strawberry and all things strawberries.
Yeah.
I've also, as an adult, come around on jam over jelly.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Well, you know.
I really like jam.
A buddy of mine did this this kind of funny thing. We were like 5 or 6 of us hanging out one time, and he's like, I want everybody in this. He did it as like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
He was in a meeting with his company, and they did it. Somebody did it as an icebreaker where you ask everybody to explain how they make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and no two people will be the same. And it's absolutely 100% true. Factual.
What were the differences?
Yeah, but there's lots of steps that go into making a PB&J.
I'm not saying we should do it here. I'm just saying here's this. Peanut butter on one side or two? Or both sides? Both pieces of bread.
One side.
One side, jelly on the other.
No.
You use the same knife, and you start with the peanut butter. And then after you do the peanut butter, you wipe your knife off on the second piece of bread so you don't get peanut butter in the jelly jar.
See,
See?
Yeah. See, if it's a jelly jar, I'm going to use a spoon for the jelly and a knife for the peanut butter.
That's
but now-
this is one of the cruxes.
But you're
Now,
making
if
two
it's-
things dirty.
If it's the
It's
one
two
that
things dirty.
squeezes
Why?
out the jelly, then there's no point in.
Yeah, I don't really.
Why get two utensils dirty?
Now, here's a question for you.
I know where you're going.
Does your peanut butter
That's not where I thought you were going.
got to be on top, or your jelly going to be on top of your sandwich?
Oh, peanut butter first. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Well,
when you're eating your sandwich, do you want the peanut butter on top, or do you want the
what's-
jelly on top?
Jelly, usually.
Okay.
I don't know. I eat it both ways.
The point is that all three, you guys just explain how you make your sandwich. I make it different than that.
Then how do you make yours?
Oh, I go butter
Yeah.
knife, peanut butter first, crunchy. On both pieces of bread, peanut butter first, a layer on both pieces of bread.
See, you can't do
You go
that
jelly?
because jelly just shoots out the back end of it when you try to eat it.
No, it doesn't. It makes the bread sturdier. And in fact, anyway, point being, also nacho cheese Doritos are the best chip.
I mean, as long
to
as
eat
you
with.
guys are cutting your peanut butter sandwiches with love as a diagonal and not like a psychopath down the middle.
That's awesome.
What about horizontally?
Horizon-
So that's the round part of the loaf is one half, and the straight part.
No, that's what you said.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
it's either
I think
you're
that's
either
the-
making making
up
triangles
and
or
down,
rectangles.
left and right.
yeah.
And if you're making triangles, you're making a sandwich with love. And if you're doing it the other way, you dislike yourself.
Have
True
you ever
fact,
made
a sandwich cut in triangles will not fill you up nearly as much as a sandwich cut in half. I'm telling you.
All right.
Have you ever made a double decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No.
Ah, right.
All right, enough about
No.
PB&J. Sorry.
Well, what I was going to bring to the table, because it's always about restaurants.
I hope it's a sandwich. I'm hungry.
It's not a sandwich,
Oh.
Unfortunately. You have to wait for Christmas for that one.
Christmas sandwiches.
Yeah. Anyways, Labor Day weekend, I asked John before the show started, what
Yeah.
type of food do you think of when you think of Labor Day? And it's kind of Memorial Day to Labor Day and everywhere in between. Barbecues, I feel like, what's on the mind.
It is.
And I'll still eat barbecue all the way through the year, but I feel like you hit September and it stops being so front of mind.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna bring is what are your guys' favorite barbecue restaurants in the state? I have my top 3 and then an honorable mention, but
So we need to go 3.
well, you can do whatever you want. I say, the best 3 in the state in no particular order for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm worried about meat more than sides.
Yeah.
If you're a sides person, it's different. But you got Wright's, which, based out of up there in Johnson.
Check.
Ridgewood Brothers in Russellville. That's a new one. They were kind of new to the scene. I don't think either of you have been there yet.
No.
But it's very, very similar to Wright's, but they've got their meat figured out. Good stuff there. And then Hoots is my number 3.
Yeah.
Down there in
we don't
McGee.
see eye to eye on that one.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Wrights and Hoots, and then anything else. I mean, there's another level there. Then there's the third lower level where
We know who's there.
it's not good.
Yeah. Well, but
Yeah.
there's you have. We're not
Without
in the we're not
naming
we're not in
names,
the
without
business
naming
of
names.
knocking people.
No,
So you're
like
right.
There's two.
There's
one-
3 tiers, and there's tier 1 that is like I'll drive hours to go eat.
Yeah,
Tier 2, if I'm in town, sure, I'm signing up for it. And
there's
tier
a
3,
lot of those.
there's a
That's
that
the
is
largest category.
that
the
is-
largest category is that barbecue's fine.
that
Yeah.
is 90% of barbecued for me.
Yeah,
It takes a lot to get in that upper echelon, and it also takes a lot to get knocked down. To be honest,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But I have seen someone leave that, for me, that category of that
Oh, yeah.
upper echelon category you're talking about and go to the
you
middle.
can drop.
yeah.
And then the third is I'm not going to eat that, right? I mean, I'm just assuming.
Let me guess. Jason's.
You
You got Wright's,
Yep.
obviously.
Which, by the way,
It's
they
about to open in
said
Little
was
Rock.
going to be open by the Razorback game, which is Saturday. I don't know if that's true or
The
not.
place
but
is gonna be big. The pictures
massive.
I've seen.
It's going to be massive. And there's great concern about that. Go ahead.
Trying
Right.
to
You're
think.
right.
Wright's, Bart's.
Yes, probably.
That's probably your number 3.
Yeah.
I'm trying
yeah.
to
The
trying
number
to
2.
figure out what your number 2 is.
I can give you a hint.
No, go for
Okay.
it. You can just.
Nightfire.
Oh yeah, Nightfire is definitely in that top echelon.
Yeah. So Wright's is in Johnson, Bentonville, Rogers now, I think, right?
About to be Little Rock.
About to be Little Rock.
Good.
Nightfire is in Searcy.
Yep.
And then Bart's is in Conway and now North Little Rock. And we actually went there last week and was fantastic. They have duck breast spring rolls.
Really?
Duck wings, a lot of wild game. There's a sausage. I tried to get my daughter to get it. It's rattlesnake and bison, I think. He's doing a lot of the wild game stuff.
good.
But anyway, it's a good eat. It's a good meal.
Honorable mention from my side. I'll throw out Drip Drop Barbecue Stop in Hot Springs.
I've never had that.
It's relatively new, I think, but they've got a lot of Mexican twist things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Barbecue nachos is very standard across the state, but theirs is like you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm in a Mexican restaurant getting barbecue nachos, not a barbecue
Not
restaurant.
a ballpark.
Yeah.
Or a whatever.
Here's
yeah.
a hot take.
Okay.
Most consistent barbecue restaurant in the state, and I will start with saying Whole Hog.
Oh, Whole Hog is the bar.
Yeah.
Whole
Hands
Hog.
down. It's
Whole Hog's-
always what it is.
Yeah. Again, I know this is not trashing on Whole Hog.
No.
But Whole Hog is always a 7.5 out of 10 every day of the week.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's never any worse or any, it's just always going to be the same. You know what you're getting every time you
Definitely,
order.
you know what you're getting. It's dependable. And those brownies are a 10 out of 10.
I've never had the brownies.
Yeah, buddy. Those brownies are good. All right.
Anyways,
I'm starving. It's
yeah.
It's 11:45 local time. as
We
We go an
record
hour and a
this.
half.
Yeah, we went a long time.
50
so-
minutes.
Ooh,
Oh, you know he
Grumpy
does not
Matthew.
like that. All right, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio versions on iTunes or Spotify.
Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
We'll see you next week.